Hi students, in this quick presentation, I'm going to talk about using AI in an ethical way to create a professional resume. So why should we use AI? So first of all, I want to do a disclaimer that I just completed a course with a cohort, and I will show you in the next slide what it is about. So I did learn for the past 6 months. I took a really deep dive into AI, specifically ChatGPT, and I'm fascinated. So I'm currently writing a book on the effective uses for AI, including writing a resume. And that is why I'm going to concentrate on this particular presentation on how you can utilize it to improve your resume, and if you don't have one, to write one. But why should we use AI? So in my case, there's many uses for AI, but I'm just going to go over the following ones as they relate to my classes. So summarizing information is very important, especially there's some classes where I tell students just write a 1 or 2 page, and then some of them are really exceptional writers and they end up writing 3 or 4 pages. So this is a great way to summarize information where you could just, and remember, this is open AI. So this is information that is going to stay in the internet. So you need to be very careful, first of all, not to use any PPI, personally identifiable information. So summarize information for everything that you feed into AI, and there's many apps. Take out names, take out any identifiable information, addresses, emails, none whatsoever. So you could use it to summarize the information. Instead of having 4 or 5 paragraphs, you could tell it, give me my main key points. All of that, to me, that is ethical because you are using your own information. Also very important, I teach an office skills class at an adult school, and I tell the students use it for proofing. I have a lot of English um, that are English students that are learning English, that are enrolling in ESL classes, English as a second language. So to them, it's very beneficial for proofing. Also help with writing. Maybe you're writing a project, but your main ideas are yours. So we need to really differentiate with the main ideas are yours. Maybe you wrote 3, 4, 5 paragraphs and you just need an ending paragraph. The prompt is the directions that you give AI. For those of you that are not familiar, I will do a demonstration shortly as well. Work task. Like I said, I teach an office skills class at an adult school, so we use it to. I have people that work in the jail system and some people that work in school districts. They bring their work and then they learn how to use it for their work tasks, for sending letters to parents, for doing onboarding for HR. Another one did a fundraiser and did that for the work task. Helped me write a letter for potential fundraisers, but they give them all the information, so it's really not plagiarized. And I want to make that distinction. Rewrite work letters. I had someone from the jail bring a work letter because she needed it to polish it for employees. Resumes, that's the one that I'm going to concentrate in this particular presentation. Please make sure, especially if you're listening to this video and you're in one of my classes, that I require that you submit a resume, that you run it through ChatGPT or Gemini in Google, or if you have any other ones that you use, I preferably and I recommend ChatGPT for resumes first, or if you can't use it, you don't like it, then Gemini for Google. But it is very important that what I've seen, especially at the college level, is that a lot of the students have so much potential, and yet when they share their resume, it really does them a disservice because it's not highlighting their skills or transferable everything that they've learned, certificates, all their education, their training, the certificates, and they don't have a professional profile. And it is very, most of the time, the ones that I get to see are very unprofessional. I would not send those to an employer. Or some are creating them from scratch, especially I know we have a middle college, high school, and also some students that come right after high school to the college that have limited work experience. So that's fine. You can write something from scratch. I work also at a high school, and my students write phenomenal resumes because I teach them how to incorporate everything from the high school. But that's in another video that I'm doing. And most importantly, as well, write cover letters. Like, how do you write the cover letters? You're not plagiarizing, you're going to use the information from the job description. And then, most importantly, is include a professional profile for your resume based on the information that you're going to feed it. Let me talk a little bit about why I'm really promoting the ethical use of AI. At the California Community College, if you come here, you're going to see a link. I hyperlink here so you could see the report. The Vision 2030 outlines the objectives and the goals for the California Community Colleges statewide. And one of the adopted goals that the community colleges has been really pushing is for us, faculty and students, to use AI to support the teaching and learning process, improve communication with students, improve student engagement and retention, improve operational and administrative efficiency. Again, what I was mentioning about using it for office tasks, especially if we're doing something repetitive, and advance equitable support, access, and success. And this is just taken from that Vision 2030 report because it's a human-centered approach. Here are the acronyms, and you could learn more if you go to that link that I hyperlinked in the previous slide. But I just want to read something to you from that report that really resonates with me. So from language translation, and this is very, 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 it hits home because I'm one of the lead instructors in the Spanish English interpreting and translation certificate and associate degree at Santa Ana College. So now you would have asked me if I would be telling my students to use AI for translations a few years ago, I would have said no, absolutely. But things change and we need to know how to use this to our advantage, right? So if we're not going to, again, plagiarize, if we're going to put our translation and maybe say, hey, can you improve this? I'm all for that. But I am not for just put it in text and telling it to translate it, not even proofing and just submitting us as is. To honing critical thinking, to increase engagement, to tailor content and personalization. AI is helping students achieve key learning outcomes, right? Because we have outcomes in every class while developing skills increasingly sought in the workplace, in the workforce. AI systems can serve as capacity extenders, allowing faculty, administrator, and staff to reduce time spent on repetitive tasks. That's why I said about the office task and different projects working and using AI, and freeing them to focus on strategic planning and improving the delivery services across the California community colleges. So I just wanted to share this because there's a movement. We're trying as faculty to see, and I'm all about embracing new technology. I'm all about using it in an ethical way, and I tell my students, high school and adult school is like, hey, if the most successful people are using it, if the most successful companies are using it, why not you? But we do have to address, of course, the white elephant in the room because there's also the bad, like everything, there's the good and the bad side, right? Um, so one of the things is the servers and climate change and all the heat that they generate. So make sure you always, like, everything has two sides so that you're also informed on that, because especially because I'm writing a book, and I was recently called out on a conference and said, well, what about, the disservice to climate change? So that's the white elephant in the room. So make sure that you do know the pros and cons. So a little bit about my recent obsession with AI. I was part of the first cohort for the California Community Colleges in 2024. We went into this very, very extensive training on how to create apps. And I had the opportunity through the Berkeley School of Education and Play Lab to be able to test and run an app for my students in the interpreting program so that they could practice to take a test from the California Judicial Council as they're trying to become court interpreters. But I learned about prompts and prompt engineering. I don't want to get too technical. So that's why I know when students submit AI generated content, believe me, I know. So we got to use a very advanced version of ChatGPT. It's not the one that you sign up for free. This was a very, very advanced so that we could create our apps. So that's one of the reasons that I'm more and more and more interested in continuing to learn about this. So I'm currently writing a book, and I will share that when it's published with my students. So no, let's talk another white elephant in the room: the unethical use of AI. So my pet peeve for me is when students submit AI generated work, a video, PowerPoint presentation, anything as their own for assignments, asking um, them for their own opinion. So, and then I want students to use critical thinking. I want them to be able to articulate what they learn, right? That's one of the outcomes. And ultimately, when you learn something, you want to be able to articulate it. That's how we process information. And that's how and anyways, there's universal design. Maybe some people can write it, and maybe some people can say it in spoken language. How is it that they learn? But to use AI for everything, they're doing a disservice. So I have many students, especially right now with the bots, they're using AI left and right. So students very frequently, they just submit it as is without even taking the time to proofread. So I'll give you an example. So there is a word called hallucination, and with AI, again, like I said, I really would like for you to learn the pros and the cons, because like just like there's a good thing, there's always a bad thing, and this is a machine. So sometimes it throws off information, it spits information that does not make any sense. So that's what is called hallucinations. So AI hallucinates, meaning they will bring up something that does not even make sense to what you ask, right? For example, I asked a student recently to share something about a video that I listed a couple of videos. And because they're using AI, the student didn't even comment in the discussion about any of the videos. The student just talked about ethical and gave me research inside it works, and I know that's AI. So that's a clear example of when it's having an hallucination. So they submit their work that it doesn't even make sense. So that's a total disservice to the student. There's no learning experience whatsoever, right? They just copy pasted, give me this, give me that. And then to me, that's why are you even in a class? This is the wrong way to do it. Citing research when researcher works that did not even require. So there's no due diligence whatsoever. And then another wrong unethical use is to rely on AI for every single assignment you work on, and that will ultimately backfire you, definitely in your learning journey, right? Because again, you need to, at the end of a class, we have learning outcomes, and we want to say, okay, did you learn, you know, the interpreting, for example, if it would be my interpreting class, did you learn the three techniques for the three modes of interpreting, right? But if you do everything with AI, you're going to miss something in the process. So for professional skills and career readiness, did you learn about teamwork and the effectiveness of strategies for customer service, customer focus strategies? But again, if the student used AI for everything, they're going to miss that opportunity. So now going to ChatGPT, and again, this is optional. You don't need to do it, but I would highly recommend that you get a free account. This is one of my free accounts that I have. I'm going to transition now into ChatGPT so that I can show you, and I'm going to use an example. I teach a workforce development class at an adult school, so I have the students use this for cover letters, for resumes as well, and to also for writing the letters of recommendation to the people they're going to send it for their job application. So this is what ChatGPT looks like for those of you that are not familiar with ChatGPT. And I see more and more that a lot of my students are not familiar with ChatGPT. There's a lot of students in the high school that are, but like my older generation students, they're not familiar with ChatGPT. There's also Gemini. If you have a Google account, if you go to the waffle, you're going to see your Gemini right from your waffle, and I'll show that one shortly. But I'm going to use the example of my brother. So again, you create a free account, and then you're going to write here in the prompt. But I will use the example of my brother because he, in December, a few months ago, he asked me, and it was really close to Christmas, and he needed to purchase a very expensive construction insurance company for a project that he was working on. And this insurance company carrier asked him for his resume and the resumes of his top employees that were going to be named in the insurance. And my brother we have a business, a family business in construction. So he's owned it for like 20 years or more, and he hasn't had he's the owner, so he didn't have a resume. And his top employees are both his sons, so they didn't have an updated resume as well, and they needed it yesterday, right? So my brother was panicking, and he said, oh my god, they close at 5. I just went, and I only had like 3 hours from when he called me, and I said, not a problem, I'm gonna use ChatGPT. And he was like, what do you mean? So I'm gonna show you what I did, right? Because like I said, this is from scratch. I'm going to show you something from scratch because neither my brother nor my two nephews had anything done. They only gave me information. I only fed ChatGPT information, which is the ethical way to do it. Once again, you do not include any PPI, personal identifiable information, because this is the internet and everything is public. You do not want your information to be public in terms of your email, your phone number, your address. So I deleted that information when I share with you their resumes. You're not going to find that information. But also in ChatGPT, I did not feed it. I always tell my students, just put your information and do not put anything that is identifiable, personally identifiable information. So please make sure that you keep that in mind when you use it. Okay, so like I mentioned, he needed it like within a few hours, and I went on ChatGPT, and this is the prompt. The prompt is what you write the instructions, right? This is all I gave it. So look at this. Please assist me, and you need to talk to it like a person, right? Please assist me in writing a company professional, just like if you would have an assistant and you're telling the assistant the information. Yeah, you have a personal assistant. So I would like to see it that way, for you to envision that it's easier to write prompts if you have that you're envisioning that you have a personal assistant. In writing a company professional resume for the construction field, starting with a personal profile. So very important, you tell it what do you want at the top. And personal profile, this work objective is very outdated. I would highly recommend you put personal profile, and you will see it if you're in a class with me where I require you to submit a resume. I'm going to give you a resume template. And professional profile, personal profile, or professional profile comes from LinkedIn. And that is, for the ones that do not know what LinkedIn is, please go ahead and Google it, because that's like the professional social media for professionals, right? And personal or professional profile is what goes at the top. So from there, a lot of in the workforce, resumes now say personal or professional profile at the top. That highlights 9 years of experience in project management, business development, marketing, and employee supervision of bleacher installation, public works, and private, because I told you it's a construction company, family owned. To include bilingual skills in Spanish and English, managerial or running day-to-day operations, supervising a crew of 15 to 20 employees. Then follow, I'm telling it, I want professional profile. Then I want to follow it with skills, highlighted in skills in project management, construction industry, contract bids, and other transferable soft and hard skills, including day-to-day operations of a construction company. And now here is the experience that we have. The partial list of projects supervised in the last 3 years, City of Palm Springs, Stadium, and then I give it a list of what this is for my nephew, what projects he's working on. Education should be next, University of San Francisco, and then he gave me this information, right? Because I'm not gonna know what projects he has, what year did he graduate. So I had to tell, it's like he's my client. I said, okay, well, send me some information, right? And then University of San Francisco, BA Politics, UCLA. He went there first, and then he transferred on a soccer scholarship to San Francisco. Work experience as follow, not a construction. And here's the license, construction license. Family owned, female minority owned, California construction bleacher specializing, blah, 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 blah. Bleacher fabrication and installation in the United States. Please include job duties and tasks for this job. because you need to include those in resumes. And this is what it gave me. And also very important that when you copy paste, do not submit it with the lines. That's how I know. That's what gives away also a lot of the students that don't even take the time and submit it. This is clearly AI generated, because in tax and in Google, we don't create these lines. So they go here on copy paste and they just do it as is. So I had to copy and paste it into a resume. So here it's already giving me this professional resume, right? And then the projects, the education, work experience, and of course, it's not done yet, because I'm gonna go ahead in the next when I copy into it, and I'm gonna go ahead and customize it. So there's more work that needs to be done, but this is, you're not starting with scratch, because it's already giving you plenty to work with, right? Then I have to go and I have to make sure if the years are correct. I have to make sure, because this is a machine, it doesn't know, right? Like if you have here not yet graduated, that you need to put here expected date of graduation. Maybe something of here doesn't make sense, so then I need to delete this, right? Because I told it to give me job description and responsibilities. And I'm going to show you what the template now, what it looks like. So this is the resume that I did for my nephew. I took out all the personal identifiable information here for his phone and address. I only left the business, because it is a public company. I only left the business email. And if he has a LinkedIn profile, then I put it there to linked. Now look at, he didn't have anything, and with just the information that he gave me within maybe tops 30 minutes, 20 minutes, I was able to provide him with a very professional resume, right? That does him justice, because I've seen so many from very talented students at the college that they send me for review or for an assignment, and it does not do them justice. So here, professional profile, highly skilled and results-driven construction professional with 9 years of experience. And see, you just tell it, hey, do a professional profile. I have da-da-da. I've experienced at this, and then it writes it for you. And then your skills, I told it what to highlight again, right? So it's not plagiarizing. I'm giving it the information. Partial list of projects supervised: City of Palm Springs, Power Bowl Stadium, Santa Rosa Academy, Menifee, Steel Canyon High School, Spring Valley. Education, work experience, he's worked there since 1995 to almost 10 years. And then reference and portfolio will be provided, and then here his responsibilities in the company, because really the insurance company was only asking for his. So he didn't want to include other jobs that he has had in the past. But if you have multiple jobs, I highly recommend that the more work experience you show, the better. So now I'm going to show you the other one that I did for my nephew. This is another one of my nephews that works in that same company. However, in his case, he's taken CAD, architecture, design. So I wanted to highlight that, because here is experience. And again, I took out all the PPI so that I can share with the class. Experienced and accomplished professional. He's been working longer than my other nephew. He's been working there 13 years of expertise in the construction industry. Head of quality control, head of design, etc., etc. And then here's skill in CAD drafting for stadium architecture design, project management. And he took a class, expertise in drafting CAD files for stadium design, including city arrangement, field dimensions, and aesthetic planning. Partial list of projects. He's been involved in other projects because we do service statewide and also nationwide, but he's doing here U.S. Border Patrol, the Fair at Santa Clara, Pasadena, Temecula, Laguna, Palo Alto High School. Certificates and training, certificate of achievement. Very important that you put your certificates. Even if you're taking Adobe or anything, you need to list your certificates. Remember, this is a very competitive workforce. Whatever you're applying, there's usually more than one person, so you want to make sure you stand out. Certificate of achievement in CAD, drafting CAD files for stadium architecture design. And here I told it to, when I did the prompt, I told it to, I gave it the name of the class, and this is what ChatGPT pulled from that class. Work experience, right? So I'm going to put here the title, company overview. So it gives here the company overview, education. He went to Temecula Preparatory School, high school. He started working with my brother shortly after high school, and then he took that CAD, and the company just took off incredibly because they have projects, like I said, statewide, nationwide, and actually they did a huge stadium in Mexico. So now it's even international. But this is what it pulled out. And let me see if I can find what I gave this one to ChatGPT. So here it is. This is what I wrote in the prompt back in a few months ago. This is all the information that my nephew gave me. It's like I'm having a conversation with someone, right? But you know your story, your journey, your work experience. So you just need to feed. The more you feed it, the beautiful and more of an amazing resume is going to give you back. And of course, this is just a draft because I had to go and polish it, right? This is what I told it for my nephew that did the cat drafting course. Please assist me write a resume for the construction industry to include a professional profile at the top to mention experience as the current head of quality control, head of design, director of administration. Here I gave it a whole bunch of titles for a bleacher fabrication with 13 years of experience, but also highlight that I completed a course. I'm talking to it like if I'm my nephew. A course in CAD, drafting CAD files for stadium architecture design, then follow with top skills in construction, highlighting the CAD, followed by partial list of projects to include, and then certificate of trainings. And here I'm telling it, I did have this certificate of achievement, and this is what it's included in that certificate. Then I went to Temecula Preparatory High School Diploma 2006, following work experience in auto construction since 2011 to present with the title of Head Quality Control, etc. Here's the company description. I gave it the company description, and then this is what I show you in the previous resume. This is what it did. And of course, you can just do here and copy paste, because when you copy paste, it's gonna do you copy paste it with the lines, and then that's not a professional resume. So I had to do it into a PDF, into a Word document, and then copy line by line so that it's not like when you copy paste it. And then I'm going to show you my brother's ChatGPT was down, and because that also happened, so I had to use Gemini. So I'm going to show you how to use Gemini. So to use Gemini, it's very easy. If you have a Google account, you just go on the waffle, you sign up to your Google account, and here is their so Gemini back in the day used to be called Bard, and there was a lot of confusion between the public transit in San Francisco and Bard, so they changed it to Gemini last about a year or so. So they're trying to do a lot of promotion. So you're going to see a lot of advertisement. So you could either here go and try Gemini, or you could just go here on the Gemini. It's right at the top of the waffle. So you would go here in the Gemini, you would create an account. This is linked to Google, so you would immediately open it. And then here it would be, it tells you if you want to upgrade. And then here is where you would put the prompt. And then the prompt, it has a little box just like the ChatGPT. And then here you would ask it, and it would generate what you're trying to accomplish. So that day that I wanted to do my brother's resume, ChatGPT was down, so I had to type the information in that. I don't have a copy, but I just wanted to show you what for him it was a company profile, because he's been working with that company for he has his own business for over 28 years, right? Professional profile. So this is a lot of experience, a list of projects, and then his work experience here, right? Senior designer, quality control supervisor. He wanted me to highlight the specific titles because he needed it for the insurance company that he was buying for a major project. So his again didn't take that long. I did use Gemini. It's not my go-to. I'm just so used to using ChatGPT. There's nothing wrong with Gemini. It also creates amazing projects. So this is what I wanted to share with you, with the hopes that you're going to be able to use it to create or to sharpen your resume. And again, if you're in a class with me that you have a resume that is due, please make sure you use the template. If you don't have anything, use the template that I provide, and try ChatGPT before you submit your resume, because I'm gonna make notes for those of you that have it as an assignment. And I've just it just really pains me to see how talented you are, because I get to read about you and I see your assignments throughout the semester, and then at the end I see your resume and it's like, no, they forgot to put this, I know there's more. So do justice to yourself, otherwise you're doing a disservice. Do justice and play with this if you can. Again, this is optional, this is not mandatory, but I wanted to share with you some of the tips on how you can generate it. And again, it probably in 35 minutes or more, I had 3 resumes, and that's not bad because they were from scratch. None of them 3 had the resumes. So that concludes this presentation. Yes, it's a little bit lengthy because it is warranted. Really deserves, especially when we're talking about resumes and making a very good impression with your resume. There's also going to be some other videos that I have in the channel on how to use AI for your cover letters or letters of recommendation. Thank you.